And welcome, everyone, to the Christian Patriot Report. I'm, of course, your host, Don Gardner. There's a new variant of the deadly COVID-19 vaccine, which makes me believe the leftists in this country are setting up the scenario to make the 2024 election become like the 2020 election. You remember what they did? Because the newest variant that leftists will use to lock us down in 2024 is called EG5. Just listen to how the media is reporting about this new variant of the deadly COVID-19 virus.
Well, there is a new coronavirus variant that is causing more new COVID cases across the country than any other variant, according to the CDC.
Yeah, in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gather has more on EG5 and what you can expect from it.
It's being called a variant of interest by the World Health Organization. EG5 is another Omicron offshoot and behind about 17% of new COVID-19 cases in the U.S.
So for now, it seems that it may have increased transmissibility, but it does not seem to be posing more of a threat to public health than other variants.
So far, EG5 has been detected in 51 countries, its global presence doubling over the last month, with China having the largest portion, about a third of reported cases, followed by the US, South Korea, Japan, Canada, Australia, Singapore, and the UK at 2%. EG5 was upgraded from a variant under monitoring because global health officials believe it should be tracked and further studied, says Dr. Audie Shaw with Mayo Clinic.
So that we can keep an eye on the data and make further determination as to if this is more risky or leading to more hospitalization.
Right now, the U.S. is seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases, emergency room visits, and hospitalizations, but it's unclear if this specific strain is driving those increases. Health experts believe the record heat driving people indoors and summer travel may be helping to drive the uptick. An updated COVID booster is expected by fall.
It's because the booster is targeted against XBB, and which is the strain of the Omicron family that EG5 is related to or comes from. So potentially it should protect against EG5 as well.
Are you scared yet? Are you going to hide in your basement like President Biden did in the year 2020? I'm not. But in order to lock us down, the left will need a new Dr. Fauci. Because, as you know, Dr. Fauci has retired. Thank God. So, here's Dr. Fauci's replacement, Dr. Janine Mazzario.
A doctor from UAB has been picked to replace Dr. Anthony Fauci as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Jeannie Marazzo is currently the director of UAB's Division of Infectious Diseases and led the department during the COVID pandemic. Marazzo earned her bachelor's in biology from Harvard University and her doctorate from Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia.
The role that she's taking on is a challenging one. Everyone knows of Dr. Fauci, and they see the public face of him.
Fauci stepped down as director in 2022. Marazzo is expected to start her new role in the fall.
Now, I just realized that I mispronounced Dr. Marazzo's last name. And you know what? That happens, especially when you're me. I mispronounce names like crazy. But don't get it twisted. Dr. Marazzo will be Dr. Fauci 2.0. And she has a history of promoting the same lockdown strategies as Dr. Fauci did. Don't believe me? Check this out.
As Fauci steps aside, a new top dog is entering the fray. Director of the Division of Infectious Diseases at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, Jean Marazzo will become the new head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases beginning this fall, replacing Dr. Anthony Fauci, who held the position for the last 40 years.
Marazzo has been described by critics as fanatical and an outspoken supporter of the COVID lockdown policy and mandates. Check out this supercut from Tech Judge.
Please consider wearing a mask when you go out. You don't need to wear one when you're at home. Masks in young people going to school over the age of 6. All the things we've been talking about, mask wearing, hand hygiene, and social distancing. Masks have contributed to the control of this pandemic in other communities. Even mask wearing, except when you're eating, you can prevent it with very good masks. The 3 basic rules: wear a mask, make sure you wash your hands frequently or use hand sanitizer, and keep your distance.
So when the new pandemic starts, and mark my word, it will start, I'm sure we will hear Dr. Marazzo pushing for lockdowns, wearing masks, and forcing people to get vaccinated. Just like in 2020, we'll probably hear leftists in the media talking like this again in 2024. You remember it was a pandemic of the unvaccinated? Check this out.
Not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
We can kind of almost see the end. We're vaccinating so very fast. Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
Getting vaccinated and getting a booster shot when eligible can save your life and protect you and your family and friends from getting seriously ill and spreading infection.
What do you think the probability is? 80%?
Personally, I think it's 100%. I think that there's a reduction in transmission.
Right. COVID, if you have these vaccinations.
We have all the vaccines we need. We just need our people to take it. A, for their own protection, for the protection of their family, but also to break the chain of transmission. You want to be a dead end to the virus. So when the virus gets to you, you stop it. You don't allow it to use you as the stepping stone to the next person.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people.
Yeah.
That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
Now, luckily, since the last lockdown, there has been some pushback against lockdowns, masks, and even vaccinations. And I'm glad it's happening because it needed to happen, because all 3 things, lockdowns, masks, and the vaccinations, didn't work to stop the spread. But there has been pushback, and I'm glad there has been pushback. Check this video out, because people, I think they're politicians down in Australia, they're pushing back and asking some tough questions to those people that created the COVID-19 vaccine. Check this out.
Dr. Theroux, you actually made a comment that no one was forced to have the vaccination. Who made the comment? Was it Dr. Theroux?
Senator, I believe I made that comment.
You made that comment? Right. Mm-hmm. You were in Australia during COVID-19. You must have been fully aware that people, nurses, doctors, people to have their jobs, to keep their jobs, were forced to have the vaccination. Now, do you retract your statement that they were not forced?
Senator, no, I believe firmly that nobody was forced to have a vaccine. Mandates or vaccine requirements are determined by governments and health authorities. I believe everybody was offered an opportunity to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine. I don't believe that anybody was forced to take a vaccine.
A lot of Australians will disagree with you on that one.
And if the new COVID variant doesn't get the job done, leftists do have a backup plan. And it's called Disease X. Check this out. because I'm sure you want to know, what the heck is disease X?
The British government has unveiled a new vaccine research facility where scientists are working to prevent future pandemics. It's located at Portendown, a high-security research facility best known for its work on chemical warfare. Experts are preparing for what is known as Disease X, or the next pandemic virus. Our health correspondent Dominic Hughes was given rare access to the facility.
The delicate task of protecting the nation's health. This is one of the laboratories at Portendown where scientists are analysing current threats, new variants of COVID, for example, and trying to identify new ones. Inside these purpose-built labs, more than 200 scientists working for the UK Health Security Agency are helping to develop and test vaccines against a range of diseases. It's vital work to keep us all safe.
We've got, in many respects, the toughest job in the world, which is to protect health against infectious diseases and environmental hazards. And it is tough because we know that the risks of new and emerging infections, including those of pandemic potential, is increasing.
Of course, these same leftists will call me and people like me conspiracy theorists for even suggesting something like this will happen in 2024. They'll call me every name in the book. I'm just a conspiracy theorist. I'm just this. They'll come up with labels for me. Until it happens. Then we will see more censorship and more what happened in 2020. The left will do everything in their power to help President Biden win the 2024 election. Remember, this is a man that supposedly didn't leave his basement to campaign, yet still 82 million people voted for him for President of the United States. Compare that to Donald Trump, who was on the campaign trail and was drawing thousands of people in his campaign rallies. Yet, President Biden still beat him in the election in 2020. Don't think that that scenario isn't going to be attractive to these leftists, because they know they can't put Biden out there on the campaign trail. Have you seen him? He can't even get off the stage properly. And as he continues to mismanage things, things are going down. His poll numbers show the American people are turning against him. But still, they're going to need something to put us back in fear in order for us to do what they want us to do. And the new COVID variant, EG5, or Disease X, is the exact weapon that they will use to force you to do what they want and to do what they say. The question is, will you let them get away with it in 2024, or will you fight back? I plan to fight back, and because I didn't do any of the thing that Dr. Fauci advised and the CDC advised. I didn't get the vaccine. I didn't wear the masks. Didn't do the social distancing, and I didn't get locked down. I also didn't vote for a radical leftist like President Biden. So you can't blame me. I voted for Trump in 2020. In 2024, the question will be, who are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote for this train wreck and Joe Biden, or are you going to vote for whoever the Republican nominee is? I'm going with the Republican nominee, and I think you should too. If you would like to watch full episodes of the Christian Patriot Report, go check out our Rumble channel. The link to that channel is in the description below.